If you've got nothing to do, at least come and massage my back. I may be into older things, but that doesn't mean I'm an antique.
Keep going.
Reloading.
Reloading.
Cover. Sorry to break it to you, but this is the end.
You can
Half cannon, alcoholic shot.
Sorry to break it to you, but this is the end.
Having such a great time together.
Did you see that? I'm strong, but my comrades are stronger.
I came for the jiggle physics and I stayed for the plot because the game genuinely has a really interesting story. It's very wholesome. There's a lot of amazing moments. So I do suggest that people pick this up. It is free to play, and as long as you can contain yourself from spending money, you will have a fun time. Of course, the progression is kind of slow, but as long as you have patience, you will experience the entire story of the game, and you'll realize that the gameplay itself is fun. Now, again, the game is made to be played on mobile, so the actual shooting doesn't require that much skill. Sure, if you have more skill than others, you can get a little bit more damage, and maybe you can progress a little bit further. But the essence of the game is in resource management, as well as how you make your team and how you gear up the NIKKEs and level them up. And it's best that I just show you. So if we go to Eleg here, part of the difficulty in the game is to decide which items go on her. You got 4 slots here, and making sure that the correct itemization is given to the correct waifu is going to increase your overall performance. Then you got the 3 skills which she is equipped with, and upgrading these skills cost resources, so you need to be smart what you upgrade and when. And finally, there's the cube, and the cube also has different variations, and again, which cube you slot into which waifu is part of the game difficulty. Now finally, whenever you go into battle, you have 5 slots, and these slots are going to be filled with your team. So making sure that you have a good team composition where the waifus synergize with each other is essential in order to progress through the game. As you can see, these waifus, they have the number 1, 2, or 3. This has to do with the burst, kind of like the ultimate in League of Legends, I guess. What you want to do is to have 2 1s, 1 2, and 2 3. This mechanic is done in order to prevent what happens in other free-to-play games where you are probably going to level up 1 or 2 characters and ignore the rest. Here you gotta make sure that you level them up equally so that you can use this ability with 1, 2, 3. Otherwise, they will die really fast and you don't get to use the ultimate ability. Okay, so this is the first part that you need to master, like how you gear up the waifus, how you upgrade them, and what skills you put on which. My advice for beginners, once you have your main team that you're going to play the most with, try to only upgrade the skills up to level 4. Because after that, they're going to cost a lot of resources. Also, only upgrade skills for waifus that have SSR. We're going to discuss about what SSR is in a bit. And besides that, make sure that you do not start leveling every single waifu. And the reason for this is that once you progress through the game, you're going to notice that you gain access to a special building. And once you get the building, you can find it in your outpost. And you have like your 5 highest level waifus here. And the lowest of the 5 level is going to level up all your other characters. So in my case, the highest level that I have is 125, 125, and then 120. So every single character that I have is now 120. So there is no point in me leveling up this character or this character because it would be just wasted resources. And the amazing thing about this system is that if you get a new waifu, you can play her right away. You just slot her in. She's already at the level of your lowest 5th character, so you can take her out and do combat with her without having to grind, without having to farm, which is something that's very annoying in other games. Now, the second most difficult thing in the game is resource management. The game really tries to make sure that you don't have impulses. And what I mean by this is, as you can see here, there's 4 types of resources. The first one are the gems. And these are the most important resource in the game because you use it for the gacha. You use it in order to try and get new waifus. And the game tempts you to try and use the gems to convert them in other of these 3 resources. And you must resist at all costs. Never use gems for anything else besides playing in the gacha. Because the game at the end of the day is a waifu collector. So if you're using it for other things, you're going to lose on gems. And it also is going to prevent you from getting past the 160 wall. We're going to be talking about that in a bit. But the main point is, only use gems in order to try to draw new waifus, okay? Do not use them for anything else, besides 2 exceptions. The first exception is the reset ability. So it costs 10 gems to reset all the levels from a waifu, and you get all the mats back. And the reason you want to do this is that the waifus you start with are SR, and they don't go past a certain level. So all the 5 most leveled units that you have to be SSR so that they can go all the way to level 200. And what you want to do is to reset the levels from an SR waifu and give them to an SSR. And it costs 10 gems, but that's acceptable. Another thing that I do, and the community disagrees with, but fuck the community, listen to what I say, right? You get the opportunity to cause a wipeout. And the wipeout gives you a lot of resources. The first one is for free, but the second one costs 50 gems. I always take the 50 gems wipeout because it helps with other side quests. But on top of that, it also gives you the chance for some legendary gear later on. And when you do the calculation, how much you lose per month versus how much you gain, especially in core dust, I think it's worth it. Fuck the community. They don't know what they're talking about. They're missing out. Now, going back to the other resources, credits are very interesting. Credits are a resource that you're going to have a lot in the beginning. And the game does try to trick you with things like this, where it makes you think that you have a lot of a resource just so you can go on spending it. When it comes to credits, it costs credits to level up a unit, and it also costs credits to upgrade gear, and you may also use them in the shop. But the biggest sink that you're going to have for credits is at the academy. The academy is a structure which gives you access to certain bonuses, but as you go through the game, it becomes more and more expensive. So, like for example here, I can get 20% more core dust, and it costs me almost 1,000,000 credits in order to get it, right? So try in the beginning not to use credits to upgrade gear. This is a beginner mistake. The game constantly tempts you in order to spend resources, especially by making you think that you have a lot, when later on you're going to struggle. So the credits, as I mentioned, early game, no problem. Mid game, they start becoming a problem, especially as you're working through the Tactics Academy, and you should prioritize this. But eventually, they stop being a problem again. So the only time you should be worried about them is mid game. Now, another resource, which I think is probably the most valuable in the game, is core dust. Core dust is very rare to get. And because of that, you're going to struggle when you reach certain levels. So in my case, at level 120, it takes me 4,500 core dust to level up. And it only takes you to get past certain walls. Like once you get past the 120, as you can see, it doesn't take core dust anymore, right? But it's a ridiculous amount for where I am. And if you don't stockpile it, if you don't start farming it since the beginning, when you finally reach the wall where you have to pay core dust, it's going to be very difficult and time consuming to get past that wall. And in the late stage of the game, there's going to be a lot of core dust required. So when you start the game, always prioritize core dust. You're going to get like certain choices when it comes to rewards, and they're going to be like, hey, do you want battle data, do you want credits, or do you want core dust? And the answer is always core dust every single time. The other resource is battle data, and this is something you're going to struggle early game and mid game. Battle data is required to upgrade your units, but it's not that important. It's very easy to get. There's a lot of places where you can get battle data from, and there's almost no place where you can get core dust from. So again, every single time there's a choice between battle data credits, you always go for the core dust. And I want to show you something else, which most people who play the game know, but if you're a beginner, you may be tempted to fall into this trap. So as I go to the inventory, you can see here that I have these cases, right? So like these cases symbolize 24 cases, and this is 1 hour of core dust. It means that if I leave the game for 1 hour, how much core dust will I get, right? And you do not want to open these. You do not want to open them until you use them. And the reason that this 1 hour that is mentioned here is directly tied to your outpost level. So as you play the game, the outpost level keeps growing. And if you open them when your outpost level is 1, you're going to get, I don't know, maybe 7 core dust. But if I open them now, I get like 34 for each, right? So what you want to do is you want to open them later, because later your outpost defense is going to be higher. So you're going to get actually more than initially, right? So do the same for credits, do the same for core dust, and do the same for the battle data caches. Okay, now there is one thing that most of the community knows. I think it's the 160 wall. I think it's called 160. But anyway, right, so most NIKKEs, they cap at the level 160. And in order for you to allow them to level higher, you need to get dupes of them. So when you're pulling the gacha, if you get, first time you get $1, and you know, this is great, she's a really great unit. But then, when you get a second $1, you can use the limit break ability. So the limit break will increase her stats, but it will also allow her to level up higher. So what you want to do is you want to get 5 units that are maximum limit break. So you want to get Dola and 3 dupes of her, and do the same for Eleg and 3 other units. And once you have 5 units at level 160 that are fully limit break, then you can progress the game. And this is called the infamous 160 wall. It's very difficult to get past in the sense that it's time consuming. Like you gotta play the RNG and keep pulling the gacha up until you get all of the units that you need. So how do you do this? Well, in order to get past the 160 wall, what you want to do is you want to go here at the ordinary recruit. And the ordinary recruit at one point will allow you to have a wish list for the characters. And as you can see, I filled up my wish list with characters that I already have. And this guarantees that whenever I get an SSR unit, it's going to be one of the units that I already have, so I can limit break them. And when I actually go at the 160 wall, I don't have to wait that long. So try and prepare for this early on, because if not, you may be stuck there for months. Now every person gets past the 160 wall. The question is, like, how fast can you do it? I have talked to people that managed to pass it without even noticing the wall exists, but there have been people that required months of gameplay in order to get past it. Alright, so the other question is, like, what do you buy at the shop? The shop, the one that doesn't cost money, it's got a lot of things. Some of them are useful, some of them not so much. I bought the core dust here because I had to complete the quest. Don't judge me. But let's look at the things, and I'll tell you what you can buy and what you can't. So this particular one allows you to buy high quality mold. You should always get it. The high quality mold gives you a percentage to get an SSR unit. It's really great. So every single time you see it available, you should get it. From this shop, you should buy the manual select. This one is really great. Whatever you get a new NIKKE that you can't use, it gives you one of these either black or golden tickets. And once you have 200, you can actually buy a dupe of a NIKKE you already have. As we discussed before, it helps you get past that 160 wall. And also, you can get a... they call it a pity NIKKE, right? You can use 200 and you can actually buy, for instance, like here, you buy REM. So which one is available? Usually the game has like different events. And all events, they will allow you to buy a NIKKE for 200 tickets. So if you don't want to play the gacha for the RNG, you just spend 200 and you get your unit. And finally, like this one, you're going to get resources just by playing. They give you a lot of resources. You're going to end up buying everything from this one. The general one, it's up to you if you want to use credits, depending on which part of the game you're at. I would recommend that you never, ever buy these because the items here aren't that good. I mean, especially not this one, 1,500 gems juices. These are a ripoff, so never buy them. Okay, so how does the game work? Well, most of the time, the game is playing by itself, right? So as you can see here, like it's collecting resources from my Outpost defense. And every time at 11, my hour, Romanian time, the game resets. And then you can do your dailies. So you go to the Ark, which is here. And you're going to have like all these rooms and they all do different things. So let's look at them. The simulation room is the one where you can get... I think you may get some core dust. I'm not really sure. But you're definitely getting your battle points in order to level up. So... an interesting thing that I didn't know about it is that if you clear the highest level of difficulty, it actually clears everything before. So in the beginning, I was going to level 1 and I was doing A, B, C. And then I was going to level 2 and I was doing A, B, C. But then I realized I don't have to. You can actually go to the last level of difficulty. So for instance, I have done 4B. And once you do 4B, you actually get everything cleared, right? So like every day, you want to do the one that's the most difficult that you can do. And you get everything. The only exception is like, take into account this is like a roguelite type of game. The simulation thing, right? So you basically get buffs as you progress. And if you can't do B, you want to do 4A first, get the buffs from 4A, and then move over to B. So this is where you get your battle points in order to upgrade your NIKKEs. The arena is PvP. You should always do it because it gives you some currency that you can use in the shop. Interception is where you get items. And you also want to do the highest level that you possibly can. So you got, like, for instance, you got your level D here. If you do the first one from level S, then you're going to get better rewards that you get in level D. You can do this 3 times a day, right? So just do the latest that's open. Even if you can't do any damage to it, you're going to get better rewards than if you were to do the previous boss. You gain rewards based on how much damage you do to the boss, right? So just progress in the campaign. Make sure that you get to open these as fast as possible, and then start doing them every day because they give you items. The tribe tower is also interesting. On the main tribe tower, you get gems. It's your primary way of getting gems outside of the campaign. And on the towers here below, you will get... I think it's called mold. Yeah, so you get like missileless mold. And with the missileless mold, it will give you a very high chance that you get the missileless waifu. So all of these Elysian, Missilus, and Tetra, they're factions, and all your waifus belong to one faction. You cannot do these towers unless you have waifus only from this faction. So you can only use Missilus waifus in order to do the Missilus tower. And also you have the Pilgrim one, and this one is a little bit different because the Pilgrim units are the strongest in the game. You can't wishlist them. But if you do the Pilgrim tower, it gives you a chance in getting a Pilgrim unit. What you can do, and I recommend that doing, is if you have, you know, level 100 or something like that, obviously it's very unlikely you're going to have 5 Pilgrims. So just use one. You can actually complete a lot of stages with just one Pilgrim, and you can get some mold in order to get a chance to get more Pilgrims. Kind of like real life. You need a Pilgrim to get more Pilgrims, right? You need money to get more money. And that's pretty much it. Also, take into account that whenever you see like this red circle here, it means that there is a reward waiting, right? So like if I click on ranking, I click on the circle here, I click claim, and as you can see, I managed to get a reward. And when you're a new player, what you want to look out for is any red circles, because if you see a red circle, it means that there is a reward waiting for you. Finally, the last sector, as you're progressing through the campaign, you unlock these. These are like puzzle type of exploration thingies where you do some combat and they reward you with cubes. And the cubes are things that you can slot into a NIKKE and unlock certain abilities that she has. So, of course, you want to complete them whenever you can. Now, lastly, you got the campaign itself, and the campaign has the story. Once you progress through the campaign, you get gems, which, again, is the other way of getting gems outside of the tower. So you want to push for that as much as you can, because it also levels your outpost and you get more gear. One more thing. I didn't know about it at first, but this is very important. Friends in this game actually matter. You can use the power of friendship in order to get a waifu. So when you go to recruit, as you can see, there's different ways to play the gacha. You can play it like this, and it gives you a chance of getting the unit whose event is. Like in today's case, I think it's Rem. So if you play this, Rem has a higher chance of dropping. This one is for Emilia. And then you have the standard gacha, right? So the standard gacha has the wish list. And it takes into consideration which waifus you want to get. But then you have this, right? So this one is with the social point recruit. Now, this one has a lower chance of actually dropping good NIKKEs. But hey, you know, it's for free. So every single day, you go to your friends list and you send hearts and you receive hearts. And once you have 10 hearts, well, with the power of friendship, as you can see, you can get a chance at getting a good waifu. So let's see if I actually... Holy shit. Holy shit. See? This is the power of friendship. This is the power... It's for free. And I didn't know about it for several weeks until someone told me. So let's see what I got. I got an SSR unit. That's guaranteed when it shimmers with gold like that. And I managed to get a pretty cool unit. I don't know what she does, but I guess I'll find out. So, yeah, I mean, this is why it's really important to have active friends. You always want to check that list, and you always want to see if people are logging on. If you have a friend that hasn't logged on for a week, you just kick him and replace him with someone else. Like, you don't talk to these people, you don't really care about them. It's just like so you can get hearts from them and send hearts back. Let's see what she does. She looks kind of cool. So she's got a bazooka, huh? Yeah, but it's interesting. Anyway, I'll leave. I need to spend some time with my new waifu. See if I can use her in any of the teams that I got. Hopefully this tutorial worked out for you, and I'll see you guys in the comment section. Take care.